everybody, welcome. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be stepping outside of my comfort zone of makeup and skincare, and we're going to be talking all about nails. I'm going to be reviewing for you the complete Olive & June Mani system. I'm somebody who's kind of all over the place when it comes to nails. I go in phases of like doing my nails and keeping them really nice, and then I get lazy, and then I don't do them for a really long time. I have used a gel polish manicure system for years. I've used the red carpet manicure system, which is great if you're looking for a gel option. But when it comes to gel, I simply just do not have the patience to remove it. So what ends up happening for me is, again, I'll do my nails with the gel. I love the way that gel looks and the way that it wears. I can usually get a solid like 2 weeks out of a gel manicure. But then when it comes time to remove it, I have tried everything to get my gel polish to remove easily, and it just doesn't, and I just don't have the patience. So typically what ends up happening to me is that I will pull my gel polish off in sheets, which is the absolute worst thing that you could possibly do. It completely destroys your nails. I can usually do like a solid 2 gel manicures, and then my nails, because I remove the polish the way that I do, my nails just become so weak and so brittle, and I basically have to start from scratch and kind of rehabilitate my nails. So one of my goals this year was to be more consistent with my nails and get them to grow long and strong and healthy, and for me, gel polish is just not the way to do that. The problem that I have with regular polish is that I can usually only get like 3 days of wear out of my mani before it starts to chip and wear. And honestly, by the time you prep your nails, paint your nails, wait for your nails to dry, all that good stuff, like 3 days of wear is just not worth it to me. So basically what happened is that I found Olive & June on social media. They have been all over social media for a couple of years. So I found them on Instagram, and I basically just got sucked in. So the draw with Olive & June is basically that they are supposed to provide a long-lasting salon quality mani at home. I have also read a ton of reviews on Olive & June polish, and people do say that they get 7+ days of wear out of the polish, which is what I'm going for. So that is my goal. If I can get a solid week's worth of wear out of this mani, I will be happy. I will consider it a success. So basically, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the complete mani system. I'm going to show you the products that I received in here, as well as the polish colors, and then I'm going to demo how I did this mani so that you can see the products in action. You can see how I applied them, and then we're going to do a wear test as well. So I'm going to put this to the test and see how long it actually lasts. So getting into the box here, again, I purchased the complete Olive & June Mani system. They also have a Pedi system. You can also buy the Mani and Pedi system together, or you can just buy the polishes and the tools separately. So again, I have the complete Mani system. It was $80, and I will show you what comes in here. So in here you get their nail polish remover pot. You get a double-sided nail file. You get a nail buffing block. You get a clippers, which is a flat edge clippers, which is really nice for shaping your nails. You also get a mani brush, so just a little brush for cleanups, detailing, things like that. You also get a poppy, which is something that you put on top of your nail polish bottle. You'll see me use it in the demo, but this is just supposed to help kind of with the ease of application when it comes to painting your nails. So again, you get a poppy, and you also get Cuticle Serum. And then as far as polishes go, you get a top coat, and then with the complete mani system, you do get to pick 6 colors that they send you. I ended up getting 7 because I just couldn't resist. So the polishes that I got are Exclamation Point, AW, Cosmic, CNH, Obsessed, SD, and LD. So that is everything that comes in the complete mani system, but again, you only get 6 polishes, not 7. I purchased a separate one. I think that this is actually a really great value for $80 when you actually break it down and look at the products that you're getting and the number of polishes that you're getting. I do think that it is worth it, again, if you are looking for a complete mani system. If you want to just purchase the polishes or any of the tools separately, you can do that as well. They sell every polish on Olive & June's website. They are $8 each, and then one of the cool things is that Olive & June actually just launched in Target as well. So I saw them in my Target the other day. They don't have every product there. You can't get the complete mani system there, but I think at my local Target I saw they had the top coat. I believe they had like 6 or 7 different nail polish colors to choose from. They also had some of their nail stickers. They had the poppy, and I think they had the remover pot there as well. I'm not going to get into any of my thoughts on the products or polishes right now because when we go to the demo, I will show you all the products up close and exactly how I use them and share my thoughts there. There is one thing that I wanted to mention though. One of the cool things about Olive & June is that their polishes are non-toxic, which is great. However, I made the mistake of thinking that like non-toxic meant that they wouldn't smell like nail polish, when in fact, the smell of these polishes is actually pretty potent. When I filmed this demo, granted, I did have the bottles of polish open for probably a little bit longer than I normally would have because I was filming and talking and doing things like that, but my apartment completely smelled like nail polish for a full day. I had to end up opening all the windows to get the smell to go away. My poor husband ended up with a headache, but this stuff is potent and it does linger. Again, I don't know why. I guess there was just this correlation in my mind that I thought, oh, if it's non-toxic, it won't smell bad, but that is not the case. These are probably the most like potent nail polishes that I have ever used. So if you are super sensitive, that's just something to be aware of. Don't make the same mistake that I did thinking that these aren't going to smell bad because they do. I don't really mind it. If the mani lasts a full 7 days, then to me it's worth it and I can put up with the smell. But again, just something to be aware of if you are extra sensitive or if you have that expectation that it wouldn't smell like nail polishes. That is unfortunately not the case. So let's go ahead and get into the demo. Again, I'm going to show you how I painted my mani, how I used all these tools, and then we will do a wear test as well. Really test this polish out and see how long it lasts. Again, if I can get, I'm going for a full 7 days here. So if I can get a full 7 days without any chips or wear on my nails, I'm going to consider it a success. So let's go ahead and get into the demo and the review. All right, you guys, let's get started on the mani. So first of all, I hope that this angle is okay for you guys. Honestly, this is the first time that I've ever made a nail video. I'm filming in my kitchen, so we might have a bit of an echo. If that is the case, I'm really sorry. Please just bear with me. I'm trying my best to find the best angle to shoot this at. So I have watched a bunch of videos on both YouTube and Instagram from Olive & June showing how they do their mani and kind of like what their method is. So I'm going to follow that in hopes to get kind of the best wear possible out of the polish. I did already take off the existing polish that I had on my nails. I did use the remover pot. My first thoughts on this are that I do really like it. So this is supposed to be an acetone-free nail polish remover. It still smells like acetone. I mean, it still has that classic kind of like nail polish remover smell. But again, this is the pot that you just kind of like dip your fingers into here. Again, it worked really well. I really only had to keep each finger in there for probably about 5 seconds and all of the polish was removed. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about with this is that I have used remover pots in the past, and especially if you're using dark nail polish colors, a lot of times what happens is that starts to build up in the pot, and then when you continue to dip your fingers and try to remove your polish, you get a bunch of staining like around your skin and things, like you're just kind of picking up some color. So anyway, I don't know if I'll continue using this to actually take my polish off in the future. It does work nice, but I think I'd rather just have this on hand for touch-ups and things like that. So I'd like to keep it nice for that purpose. But overall, first thoughts on this are that it worked really well. So I also went ahead and filed my nails just to spare you guys some time. That's pretty standard. I figured you didn't need to watch me file my nails. Again, pretty nice nail file, really standard here, nothing revolutionary. It does have 2 sides. So this side here is pretty gritty, and then this side here is a little bit more normal. So anyway, again, standard nail file. I did already file my nails. So as far as the cuticles go, basically they do not recommend that you clip your cuticles. Instead, what they say is that after you take a shower or a bath, or after your cuticles have softened, basically just use your thumbnail to push the cuticle back and then lightly buff it off with the buffer in the buffing steps. So that's what I did. My cuticles need a lot of help, so it was really hard for me to resist the temptation to actually cut them. But again, I want to follow exactly what they recommend so that we can see how this mani actually turns out and how it lasts according to their methods. Okay, so next, as far as painting, basically to prep your nails, their method is dip, buff, dip, which means dip your finger in the polish remover to remove your polish, then buff your nail, then dip again in the remover pot to get rid of any excess oils and make sure your nail beds are as dry as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. I already dipped, obviously, to remove my polish, so I'm going to skip the dip because I already did that. So I'm going to buff and then dip again, and then it'll be time to paint. I'm just very, very lightly running this over my cuticle as well, but I'm also making sure to get this kind of right at the sides of my nails and on the tips as well. When we tend to buff, I at least always tend to just go like this, and I miss kind of like the nooks and crannies where it's probably most important, like at the base of my nail and at the tip. So I'm just being extra sure to kind of make sure that I'm buffing the entire nail. All right, so nails are all buffed. They're looking pretty rough. This is typically, honestly, where I would usually make the mistake of rinsing my hands off now, which is not what you're supposed to do. So that could explain some of the problems that I've had with regular polish in the past. But again, now we're going to dip again to get rid of that dust and remove the excess oil, and then it will be time to paint. The one nice thing about the remover pot and it not being acetone is that I feel like it actually doesn't dry out like your fingers. If I were to have dipped my fingers into a pot like that that had acetone in it, my fingers would be really like dry and funny feeling. So actually dipping it into there feels pretty comfortable. So again, now you're supposed to be really careful not to touch your nails, wash your hands, get any oils on them because they are prepped. So next thing, there is no base coat with this system. Like I mentioned, the base coat is built into the polish. They did recently launch a new product, which is like another prep step, which is basically a nail dehydrator. I don't have that, so I'm not going to use that today or any other nail dehydrator. I'm just going to go in with the polish now. So for the purpose of the video, I am going to use this really deep shade here. This is SD. This is pretty much a black shade, and then I'm also going to use Exclamation Point on my ring finger so we can see the glitter in here and how it builds up. I just figured a really dark shade would be best for the purpose of making a video so that there's enough contrast. You guys can really see how it's painting on and things like that. And then I think it'll be easier to notice any chips as they happen throughout the week as well. So to apply the poppy now, so you just have to pop the cap off if you're using an Olive and June polish, and then on the brush here, I'm going to find the flat side. So you can see the flat side is right here, so I'm just going to gently dip this back in, and then they say you can just kind of like poppy right on. I don't know how far up you're supposed to put it. That might be a little too far. Oh well. Okay. So let's just paint. You guys, I just totally forgot that I was going to put Exclamation Point on my ring finger, which actually worked out pretty nicely because now I can show you how the remover pot works and we can see if this is actually going to be like a good thing for cleanup. So basically they say the nice thing about this, which I agree with, is that if you do mess up on one finger, you can just dip into here without having to like ruin the rest of your mani. So I'm going to do that. Again, I can't believe that I just did that. Oh well. Okay, that actually worked really nicely. Okay, so that is like one thin coat of Exclamation Point. It's not as opaque as I thought that it would be, but I do think it's going to be something that I can build up. This might be something that takes 3 coats. but we will see. So I'm going to move on to my other hand now and let this dry before I go back in with the second coat. Okay, so the first coat is done. I did go ahead and let it dry for about 5 minutes, and now I'm gonna move on to the second coat. Honestly, the first coat, I'm pretty impressed. So it does look a little bit streaky. I don't know if it'll pick up on camera or not, but for being such a dark polish, I'm honestly pretty impressed with the opacity right out of the gate. I think after I do the second coat, it'll be pretty much full coverage. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to a second coat now. Okay, this is 2 coats now, and then I did go ahead and apply a third coat to my ring fingers here with Exclamation Point to build up the opacity a little bit. With the dark polish, I'm super happy with the way it looks with 2 full coats. I mean, I pretty much have full coverage, and I'm going to leave it at that so that I don't risk getting it too thick and increasing the chances of chipping. So now what you're supposed to do before you apply top coat is clean up. So this is where the brush comes into play. You're just going to dip that into your remover pot and then use this to clean up any mistakes. All right, so cleanup is done. Honestly, it was a little more difficult than I thought. I think it's because I just used such a dark polish. Honestly, dipping the brush into the remover pot and getting the polish to come off of kind of my skin on the top, that was fine, but where I flooded the cuticle a little bit, I don't know if you can see, like on this finger here, might be the best example of it. It was just really hard, especially because it was a dark polish. I went back like 3 times to try to get it to come off of the cuticle, and I just couldn't get it all to come off. I ended up kind of making a bigger mess than it was worth. So just something to, I guess, be aware of. Be really careful with dark polishes. Again, like, I think it's a great step. I will likely, obviously take the brush and clean up what I can, but it just didn't work the best for trying to get it to come off of my cuticles. So anyway, not a big deal, but I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry pretty much completely. So they say about 20 minutes before you move on to top coat. Okay, so my mani is pretty much dry now, so I'm going to move on to the top coat. And one thing I forgot to mention was my thoughts on the poppies. So honestly, it was fine. I think it's just something that I'm not used to. I'm very used to how a regular nail polish bottle feels in my hand. I've kind of trained myself, especially with my left hand, to paint, with a standard polish tube. I'm just so used to the normal nail polish bottle that I think it threw me off a little bit. Not to mention that I'm at like an extremely awkward angle, like I said, trying to paint around my camera so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So I think I just need a little bit more practice with the poppy, but I mean, overall, it feels like a really nice product. I get what they're going for. So again, just something that I'm gonna have to work with again going forward. So again, moving on to top coat now, I'm gonna go ahead and apply 1 thin coat of this to all of my nails. All right, so top coat is on and my mani is almost done now. I'm just gonna go ahead and again let this dry completely, and then the last step is going to be the Cuticle Serum. My mani is now completely dry, so like I said, the last step now is the Cuticle Serum. Basically with the serum, you've just got this little kind of applicator up here at the top, and then you're just supposed to kind of like click it a few times, I guess, to get the serum to come out, and then apply it directly onto the cuticles. Learn from my mistakes, you guys. Just be patient with this. If you click it too many times, it will just completely overflow on you. So be gentle and just be patient. This might actually be too much product, but I don't want to waste it, so I am just going to dot a little bit on my cuticles and then use the other side to try to kind of like blend it in. All right, you guys, so my mani is pretty much complete now. Again, that cuticle serum ended up being a little bit of a mess. It is really nice. I just, like I said, don't make my mistake. Be patient with it. Don't twist it too many times. I had way too much excess product, so I ended up having to just kind of rub some of it in with my fingers. But all in all, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I have no complaints with any of the products. The polish applied really nicely, but now the true test is just going to be how it wears, because honestly, if the polish doesn't wear well and it starts chipping, then none of that other stuff really matters. So I'm going to wear this again. I hope that it's going to be 1 week before I check in with you. Like I mentioned, I'm hoping that I can get a solid week of wear out of this before it would start to chip or wear. So as soon as that starts happening, I will let you know. The other thing is that it says to apply top coat throughout the week. So every 2 to 3 days, which I will do as well. And I will continue using the Cuticle Serum like every day or every couple of days as well. So like I said, we're gonna wear this now. I hope that it's 1 week before I check in with you, but I will let you know as soon as I start to notice wear and chips on my nails. All right, I am back with an update now. So this is the morning of the 7th day. So I didn't quite make it to a full week, but again, I did get like a full 6 days, and this is the morning of the 7th day. So this is where my nails are at currently. As you can see over here, we did have one casualty. Basically what happened with that nail is that it just pretty much completely peeled off. That started happening around day 5, and then basically what I kept doing was applying top coat to kind of seal it down, and it held on for a bit longer, but it did end up actually peeling off this morning. The rest of my nails are in pretty good shape. I have some very minor chipping and wear kind of on the top part of a few of my nails, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the way that everything held up. Like I mentioned before, I did continue to apply the Cuticle Serum throughout the week. I did it about every other day just when I remembered, and then I also ended up reapplying the top coat every about 2 days. So I applied it 2 times in total, except for this nail over here. I applied it more often to, again, try to get that polish to kind of seal down and hang on a little bit longer. The one thing that I will say is I think that I would have had much worse luck if I did not continue to reapply the top coat. So again, over here, I have just like this very kind of minor chip right up here. I'm not even sure if you'll be able to see it, but that happened at about day 3. And again, I think that if I didn't continue to apply the top coat, that chip would have just kept chipping, and I don't think they would look as nice as they do. So that is kind of the one thing that I've learned with this mani system, is that to get the best wear, you really do have to keep up with the top coat. Like I said, if I didn't continue to reapply, I think that I would have had way more chips than I have now. That's just something else that I learned too. One of the things that I can improve on for next time is really making sure that when I am painting my nails and applying the top coat, that I'm really sealing that top edge on all of my nails, because again, that's where I started noticing the most wear. And again, if I didn't seal it back in with the top coat, I think I would have ended up with a lot more chips. So just a note, and again, that's something that I can definitely work on going forward too. It is a bit of a bummer that I have to apply the top coat as often as I do to keep these looking nice. However, the top coat does dry fairly quickly, so I just got in the habit of putting it on before bed, and it only took about 5 minutes to dry before I felt like I could touch things and move around, so it wasn't so bad. And obviously that's way easier than completely redoing your mani, so I can get past that. But again, I do think that the top coat and reapplying it is essential in keeping your mani looking really nice and fresh. So again, I mean, for pretty much, we almost made it to the full 7 days. Again, I just had this one little accident earlier this morning, but overall, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I'm impressed with the polish. When I reapplied that top coat, it looked like I had just freshly painted my nails. So overall, I am really happy with how everything turned out. I'm definitely going to continue using it, but again, just making a few minor adjustments to make sure that I'm really getting at the top edge of my nail and sealing those in to avoid any chips going forward. But I certainly don't think that these look bad for 7 days. I think this is probably the best regular polish manicure that I've had in a really long time, and the best part is that I did it all myself at home. So again, I'm going to end the video here, you guys. I'm going to call it a success. I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.